right. Greetings. All right. Short intro. Here we are. It's 20 minutes till about 10 minutes till midnight. Started up a little bit late today. Yeah, there's a shift going on right now. I'm not going to concentrate on Ukraine anymore as it implodes. It's kind of wasting energies on that, but it was worth the time. I'd dabble into that here and there in the future. But so let's see, fifth dimension. Try to do more higher dimensional stuff over time. So yeah, this is a fifth dimension remote view, Galactic Alliance DNA life extension, and Saturn connections on the Earth. So Saturn is just seeing where that energy is sitting here. Of course, it's probably not much new to other people who have connected to it, but just tapping into the what's around. Washington D.C. has a lot of it. Let's see. Russia has, not that this is helpful. Pluto has like a lot of interdimensional energies that are kind of, you could say, mysterious. Finland has some Saturn. Either way, we'll go into that. A little bit later. Also, extension energies. Some people are interested in that. And that's basically like healing cancer cells or any type of cancer anomalies. Cancer seems to be the biggest killer overall, at least energy field. Obviously, there's other things, but cancer is still pretty intense. So we'll go into those energies. So brings on this Thursday night. So I'm talking about private sessions. Yeah, scheduler. Shop, I'm behind. I'm almost like a month behind now. I'm still on February 10th and 11th. Yeah, it should be speeding up soon. Same situation here at webinar, um, social networking behind the scenes. Just a bunch of dense energies. So here we go. So fifth dimensional or fifth dimension energies overall that's here. A lot of it's in the oceans. They bring in, I mean, you might not always see it physically, but the oceans do bring in higher dimensional energy, especially around the tropical areas. The tropical areas can go sixth and seventh, eighth dimension. Of course, some of the islands aren't always the most positive, but the ocean energies are. So this is how the other planets connect to us, is through the oceans. Yes, they might connect to the land to a certain extent, but the ocean is really where they really work overall. That's the strongest vibration. And let's see, let's see. There is a lot of Arcturian energies, of course. There's a lot of Saturn, Syrian energies everywhere. The Arcturians do play a role in bringing in these multi-dimensional realities here. So the Arcturians are very connected to the Asian cultures, and the Asia has a lot of different subcultures throughout the galaxy universe. You can almost say that this galaxy is kind of like an Asian um, galaxy. I mean, our planet is mostly Asian, actually. Um, the Asian energies is to keep things together. It just has a way of keeping the fragments of time together, if that makes any sense. It's just there to, like even the animes, the entertainment there, a lot of it, at least the anime, is very higher dimensional. It's just, they talk about universes and more than most countries. It's just Asia in general, even China, as messed up as China might be on many different levels, it's still a higher dimension. Well, maybe not all of it, but there's this higher dimensional energies that work through it. And yeah, some of that connects to the gray, the Arcturian, of course, the other beings. But the Asian energies like to here to keep us, you can say technically from destroying ourselves overall. Of course, as like in Japan in World War II, it tried, well, not destroy humanity, I don't think, but either way, it was still pretty. I mean, they didn't drop the atomic bomb on Germany; it dropped it on Japan. So it just shows how the Japanese at that time were not giving up for anything. So it shows that their power, you could say. But they also influence electronics, cultures. So the Asian vibe is so extremely powerful, and it helps with the human experience, as you can see. Not to say everybody's Asian, but there's like even Pleiades has Asian energies, and Syrians have Asian. Asia is everywhere throughout the dimensions, and a lot of that is that's like the Arcturian DNA to expand on. It's like it's the life force to keep humanity going, at least on our level. It's not on all worlds, but it's definitely on ours for sure. Obviously, um, eventually, even just I have a cat here that's trying to figure out what she's doing. What are you doing? Okay, very good. Um, so yeah, Asia is bringing in the higher dimensions. Of course, other countries are also to a certain level, but the Asian countries seem to have a way of bringing those vibrations in without us noticing it. So, in the Ukraine situations like reptilian energies, actually, a lot of it is releasing a lot of negative energy. Actually, even if there is war, it is unlocking a lot of negativity. It's showing it. It's just sometimes war is there to release, and eventually peace will find itself over time. So, yeah, fifth dimensional energies. Basically, it was just the Asian DNA is very, you know, it's it's necessary for physical reality, at least in our regard. Well, it just keeps us. I mean, it feels like the Asian DNA is here to keep us from destroying ourselves. This is an interlocking energy with the other dimensions that are here to help us. Maybe just eating more rice makes things better. It has the dragon energies, the dragon, Asian dragon energy. What's the Arcturian dragon energies? The dragon is more of a higher dimension, 12th dimension energy that can be seen here in the physical form. So let's see, the fifth dimension energies is basically the higher dimensions is kind of like a stairway. It's like stairs going up into the higher realms. It's like each stair is a level of reality that you have to experience. Now you can be born in up on in the higher dimensions very easily, but can you handle the responsibility of it? Can you handle being a god being, basically? And are you going to use that for good or use it for evil? What's your because you can use and eventually you will fall. No matter if you're good or bad, this reality will call this third dimension will call you eventually. To cut out all like the fat, cut out all the energies that you don't need anymore. It's like you're in the higher dimensions for like forever, and you build up all this like energy fat, and you come here to cut it away. So you come here in the third dimension just to slice off what you don't need anymore. I know that's not always going to make a lot of sense here. Either like giving, like helping others is a way of using your power for good. It's not necessarily cutting the fat, but it's bringing even yourself life extension energy to other people. It's sharing your vibration, even if you're with two people, five people, one person, nobody. If you're with nobody, well, usually you're with some. There's always somebody interacting. If it's But even if you go to like the restaurant, just talk to a waitress or not, and talk to them, just be. It's everywhere you go. You're bringing vibrations. You're always shifting energy fields. So, and sometimes you can be like a galactic nun. You don't have to talk to anybody. Sometimes you're just here to be quiet and just work with the vibrations. So there's a lot of people that are spiritually awakened that are isolated, and you're actually like a galactic monk. You're here to work with the vibrations here. You can't talk to the people here for various different reasons because you want to speak your truth, and obviously many people aren't interested in what you have to say. You're not quite there, but you are still moving the vibrations around. It's kind of like a domino effect of shifting reality. So it's like you're planting a garden just by going where you're just doing everyday life stuff because your energy is like a light bulb, and you're just, you might not see it for yourself. You might even get darker because you're so depressed of being here, but either because you feel the effects of this, the weight of this reality. We are here to shift the energies, like, so if you're isolated, you're basic like from other people, most likely you're working with the earth basically. You have a relationship with the earth, even if you don't feel like you do. Like if you feel like you talk to the trees or nature's like, oh, you can talk to. Yes, it's lonely, but that's you know because you're doing that to because you can anchor. You're looking for some kind of anchor into the earth. You can't do it with other people. Is obviously there's reasons behind that, but yeah, because people can be really toxic and backward. Well, that's what obviously reptilian programming. Obviously, it's Archon reptilian programming, and sometimes some of us have actually created that programming. And that's the other thing. If you feel like you need to stay away from people, how do you know you did not help create this program to begin with? You're on this planet. You might not remember it. You're not supposed to remember, but what if you're involved with the manipulation here in the past? Like it's like you're like this galactic being with higher knowledge. It's like, and you see, beings that are wasting their energy and being a pain in the ass. It's like, okay, we'll create a world that's a pain in the neck then. We have these beings abusing their power all the time. We're going to create not necessarily called a prison planet, but a planet that's so difficult to break free. It's like for beings to um, clear out their bad habits. You can call it a prison planet, call it whatever you want, but it's like when you incarnate here, obviously you get locked in, and it's done for a reason. And some of us obviously incarnate here to see how the inmates are doing. It's just like this world is made to be shut down. I mean, obviously it wasn't always shut down, but in the higher realms, there's being as some people are experiencing now with the secret space program. They're seeing the abuses that are being done there. They can remember how these beings are just complete evil, Hillary Clinton in space, whatever, causing all kinds of hell for everybody. You know, that's a good example of showing abuse of power. And so a lot of those beings are actually put here in this dimension. It's not always made clear because amnesia is here. It's like sometimes the less they know, the better. Like a janitor could be like a ruler of another planet, like either causing Holocaust or being like maybe the nicest guy in the universe. Who knows? I mean, if they're brought to this planet, some dark beings become the nicest beings ever. It's like, whoa, I came to Earth. I must have did something wrong. That's not always the case with people that are here, but there is a lot of cases like that. They get sent here because they did a lot of wrong. So, and we're here to maybe even in this lifetime, even this generation will start to unravel that. At least on a spiritual level, you're unravel it. Doesn't mean you're going to see it physically. Of course, you never know. But you know, it's just yeah, this world is obviously designed to. It's just the beings in the higher dimensions just abuse their power. I mean, you see kind of like some of that in the Indian, of course, the Anunnaki, but also in the Indian gods. Some of them abuse their power, and so the Greeks, the Greek gods abuse their power. Obviously, the God in the Bible too abuses power too. So you take all, it shows like the higher beings are just, even the God of the Bible is sort of a pain in the ass. I mean, come on, flooding a planet. I mean, come on. For example, you can take that any way you want, but the idea is to shut it all down. Obviously, some people here feel like they're gods and use that God power over people, abuse their energy on others. Yeah, it's like you can have somebody, like, for example, not to go after your gym. Somebody has like a retail job or something. And some of them are, or a manager, and it can be a complete nightmare to be around. But also the nicest person when they're around customers, but around the employees that are around that manager can see like the devil himself in that manager. So it show like little pieces of the galactic war will slowly start to unravel here. Is what I'm getting at. So yeah, just nothing is what it seems on the surface, obviously, right? So, yeah, the fifth dimensions. I mean, all the higher dimensions are key. I mean, even the higher dimensions don't really want a world like this to exist. But there's part beings in the higher dimensions know this world's necessary for the beings that abuse their power more than anything, in the higher echelons. So this is a wake up call for a lot of beings. Like I say, there like you might have like a demonic alien being in the secret space program. They incarnate here for some reason, get sent here, whatever it is, and they can just change instantly into the nicest being in the universe because they know what this place is. And some of them might even do good deeds to everybody because they know exactly what this world is. So it's like some people are super nice, there might be something else going on there. There's nothing bad about it being nice, not at all. But just another way of looking at it. Okay, that's one analysis. Okay, so the Galactic Alliance, the DNA. Life extension, there is some Palladian energies there, even some Anunnaki, but feels like much of the life extension energy is done through Palladians. Some Arcturians, but it seems like the Palladians are probably a big role in that. Syrians, not so much. I would say the Syrians are more part of life, less expectancy, shorter life. Because, like you have mortal beings and all that abusing their power once again. It's like, yeah, it's like, like the reason why our lives are so short is like you're here to learn a certain thing, learn it, and get out of here. This life isn't going. I mean, do you want this to be forever? It's like it just it's the short lifespan, like 50, 60 years. It's motivation to get yourself going to do what you need to do here and get out of here. Yeah, this life is not built. I mean, I don't know why anybody would want it. Because the ones that want to live here forever, I remember their lives in other realities. I mean, I don't see why anybody want to live here a long life, and some beings have just had it easy throughout their lives. So obviously, they have trouble leaving, but that's why cancer was created. That's one of the reasons, and that's why cancer hasn't been, healed. I mean, when I can say when this world becomes more aware of the higher dimensions, when it becomes more, when it grows up, when you can have galactic conversations with anybody, yeah, you might not agree with everyone, but society is finally allowing it to be part of its society. When you can talk to anybody about Palladians, Arcturians, or any galactic being that no one's ever heard of, when you're allowed to do that, that's when you can live longer. Okay, hey, look, they're finally allowing. It feels like that. I mean, obviously, the spiritual understanding. I mean, you don't have to accept it. It's just allowing more of the higher dimensions. It can be angel, can be spirit, can be aliens. It just allow that more of that conversation instead of shutting it out. Because right now it's shut out for the most part, obviously, right? Because galactic knowledge should be just as well known as religion. It should have the same type of place in the world. Believe it or not, like I don't want to go this direction, but it's almost like having your own galactic temples. I know that's maybe not the best energy, but it's. I mean, they had like a temple for Zeus. Of course, that was religion, but yeah, galactic temples. Of course, that's like a religious energy there. But I'm just using that for example. It's just when you can have like a Palladian sanctuary or Arcturians. I mean, you have music bands calling themselves the Arcturians or the Palladians or whatever, and that's good. But when you start allowing society to accept it more, that's when we get to live a little bit longer. It's just that you're accepting a higher. You're allowing yourself to, because then you can heal. The idea is to heal conflict. When conflict starts to heal here, it won't be perfect, but that's when you can live a little bit longer. Because why would you want to live here a long time if everyone's trying to kill each other all the time? So what would be the point in that? It's what's the and it starts shriveling up when you get old anyway. It's done for a reason. It's like, and some people live a long life to 100 just to show. It's like, do you really want to live to 100? You see what I look like? So it's some can beat death, and they can live to 100 or 115. Some just have that ability, and some of that's Anunnaki. That's a diverse energy there. God, I can't imagine why anybody would. But yeah, it's just, yeah, the conflict on the Earth has to heal, and then you can live as long as you want. Yeah, you can live 50 years longer. So it's kind of happening, sort of, but now everybody's like jacking themselves up with vitamins and everything, right? So it's just, yeah. So basically, it's not just knowing about galactic connections or angels, spirit guides. It's healing the hell that's on this planet. It just, and look how long that's going to take. Healing the hatred here. Just, I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories. This is real. This is not. And that's fine. But it's just healing. I mean, there's always going to be a divide to some level. There's nothing wrong with that. But the more that the more this galactic knowledge can come, because a lot of people are connected to the galactic connections are all depressed. Jack can't. Yeah, I mean, no surprise there, right? It's just that when you can share your connections with others, it can help them remember. They can remember and heal conflict from galactic wars and things like that. People are doing that with past lives now, but the alien stuff isn't that popular. So when the alien knowledge becomes more popular, it can heal cancer, it can heal all this stuff, and you can live longer. It's like now there's a reason to live longer. So right now it doesn't feel like there's much of a reason. I mean, I can live to 60 years, 70. I can't imagine. Why would you want to live? I mean, there's so many better places because this world is more just, yeah. This world's kind of it is technically a prison planet. Technically, you don't have to look at it. It is technically it's a prison planet. You see it in different ways, but so it's like you want to live to 100 on a prison planet. I mean, look at Ukraine. That can always spread out to other countries too. There's no one stopping that. So yeah, the fear of the future and all that. The idea is, yeah, not to have a fear of the future. And many people don't have that, but even it's just it's like put your message out there, then go somewhere else. It's like there's no reason to stay here for a long time. Just no reason for it. Not until the conflict ends. It's like you want to stay here a long time, and humanity still hasn't learned its lessons. And you keep telling it, "Hey, what about this? What about higher dimensions, aliens?" And humanity just says, "Nope, not doing that." It's like, what's the point of staying here? It's like, he's going to stay. You're going to stay that way. Well, so be it. So, um, anyway, so going to the Saturn energies, there is a lot of Saturn beings that are in. I do feel like in nature, there's a lot of nature being programmed. Obviously, right? There's a lot of photosynthesis happening there. So the planets, in our solar system are programming our planet to keep us on lockdown. So Mars, Venus, Jupiter, etc. They're all put here just to keep us locked down until we can get our act together. So there's a possibility as we up our vibration, those planets start disappearing. I know that sounds a little weird with that, but it's like you don't need them anymore. You don't need that they're just basically kind of gatekeepers. I mean, they're just trying to keep our sanity. They're doing a lot of, those planets are, of course, Saturn's a little bit kind of a ruthless world, but to a certain level. Um, yeah, it's good and bad. It's just, I mean, Saturn has to go through its own healing itself. It has a lot of issues. Venus still has conflict within itself too. So when we start going to those worlds physically, like on ship, at least on a spiritual level, to start to open up. I mean, they're opening up slightly right now, but they haven't fully opened up. Of course, a lot of Saturn energies are connected to religions, to for secrecy. Secret societies lock them down, and that's the other thing for secret societies to start, be unsecretive. And you can do that with your spiritual connections. You can tap into secret societies with your own energy. Just go by what you feel. Obviously, they're not too big on that. There's not a lot of people doing that, but it can unlock a lot of the controls, because there are people in the media that were designed to keep people programmed. As you understand more of the secret societies and heal those energies, which is not easy, the media starts to disappear itself. Yeah, it's just, basically they can't hide anymore. That's basically the direction we're going in. That takes a while, though. But Saturn is basically locking the door on secret societies and the governments. Of course, it's a big part of creating a lot of the government energies here. It doesn't want to be fully understood here. It's Yeah, it's going through a lot of, yeah, conflicts. There was a lot of wars on Saturn that led to our world's fall. It's not just Mars. Saturn, I think Saturn, they try to destroy themselves too. And a lot of those beings, one of them I think is Julius Caesar. Yeah, they're very advanced. Saturn's very advanced and also can be good, but also pretty dark itself. And they brought a lot of their dictators came here. uh, but yeah, they don't have a quarantine like we do though. Is because they know how far they can go. It's like they know when to stop. You can sort of stop. They're just more, they're more open minded than we are, obviously. Uh, yeah, a lot of reptilian beings are designed to shut us down. Anunnaki, some Anunnaki do come from Saturn. Some also come from Jupiter. So you have your Anunnaki, yeah, your Saturn Anunnaki, Jupiter Anunnaki, and so on. Pluto Anunnaki, I'm feeling. Um, yeah, it's just Saturn. Yeah, Saturn's even went through their own kind of holocaust in their past too. We definitely have a lot of their manipulations here for sure. I mean, a lot of our secret societies are connected to Saturn. So that's, a lot of our elite are Saturn beings, just very advanced, and they came over and took over Atlantis basically. Atlantis was like, "Hey, take us over. We're stupid." I mean, they were smart, but they weren't that. I mean, they were sophisticated, but other beings showed that they weren't that sophisticated. They were, and they weren't. It's like, wow, you have a lot of nice things here. We're gonna take it. Yeah, so a lot of that came from, so fall of Atlantis. A lot of that comes from Saturn. Well, it came from Mars, but Saturn also. There's probably other beings involved, but yeah, Atlantis just had all these nice things, pretty things. I mean, obviously they had their own darkness too, but Saturn just came in and became like the leader. Mars also, but Saturn, I believe, is even stronger than Mars. Mars is pretty bad. It's toxic as unbelievable. Saturn is subtle and worse. It's just they're more powerful. They're just more powerful wizard beings there, and they just hijacked everything. Yeah, I believe they, I would say, programmed the Anunnaki to, shut us down, shut down humanity. But they also found a way of provoking humanity to fight each other and become more tribal. Because humanity, I don't think, was always that tribal. It wasn't always like that. It was more advanced. Humanity was more advanced, more peaceful in the past. Like during Atlantean times, I believe even before that. Like Lemuria, yeah, it was just more peaceful. And then, yeah, it just started to crack little by little. It's you build it up and then you take it down, basically. But it could have stayed up, but it obviously had a lot of weaknesses within it that it was, yeah. Well, but anyway, so you want to know, yeah. So obviously Mars has a lot of energy here that's causing difficulty, but Saturn's like one of the most advanced in all levels. But it's doesn't mean they know everything. It just spiritually they're advanced. Like the grid in Washington D.C., for example. Of course, they have grids at other places. The street grids. A lot of that is Saturn just to lock down the government. Um, yeah, it's yeah, the symbols are just locks. The owl is being used also, like the all-seeing owl. Owls, of course. I feel like the owl, much of the owl's energy comes from Saturn also. I mean, obviously it originated from other places, but the owl is so, I don't know, it has a lot of yeah, Saturn energies connected to it for sure. So what does all this mean? What's Saturn, of course, Saturday, but schools are connected to Saturn also. Rewriting mental DNA, just obviously a lot of the abusers here, mental, physical abuse comes from Saturn beings too. It's not just reptilians. Saturn beings are human. Some of them are giants. Obviously, they don't really show themselves, but they're hidden usually. They're basically like secret society beings. Where when it comes, I mean, they're human, but they're secret society. Like they wear the cloak. Some of them are magician beings, but they just wear the cloak. They hide. So if you're a man or a female and don't like to be out in public, there's a possibility that you had like secret society connections. Because your life is basically keeping and hiding. Not that you're afraid of society, but you're just designed. You grew up as basically being in the shadows. Because yeah, your language is different, your thinking is different. Um, and the Saturn beings that took over Atlantis, obviously, there's probably a lot of beings that did that, but these are more advanced than reptilians for sure. They're not Orion connected. They're just Saturn beings. They feel like they're the parents of our planet. Some of them are very tall. It's kind of like an Anunnaki being. Of course, you're not going to hear about well because they stay hidden all the time. Yeah, you can just look in this. I don't know, Saturn mythologies. They're here and there. They're scattered about, but anything that's Saturn related symbols or anything, obviously, it's them. They can't hide themselves completely, but they don't make themselves known as alien beings. Yeah, usually like 6, 7 feet tall. I think see around 7 feet tall. They're not obviously physically they're not that tall. They're very connected to the monks. So you say the monks are a lot play a big part of our the Bible. Keeping the energies of the Bible copied, written, and all that. Saturn had a lot to do with hijacking the Bible. It's just that you can say Saturn just the beings here just saw the flaws in humanity. It's like humanity is not ready to manage their planet by themselves, and they tested that to see the flaws. So they played with humanity's emotions and thought patterns. It's like, yeah, you guys don't know what you're doing, do you? And so they took it over just like that. Saturn, of course, Orion's connected to it. Obviously, there's all these different species, but Saturn is very powerful here. It's like very advanced, like sixth, seventh dimension, very powerful being, mentally powerful beings. They know how to make money very easily, and they cloak. They just keep themselves hidden. Uh, Mostly the secret societies, obviously. They're not in all of them, but they're in major ones. Yeah, just Hollywood, obviously. That's medical field, definitely. Genetic engineering, Nazi energies. Then they'll be connected to the Rothschild. Mhm. So Saturn's connected to the Rothschild energy. I don't see much Rockefeller there. That's more Martian. But Rothschild, I mean, yeah, I mean they're pretty prominent. You don't hear about them very often. Yeah, they just now a family that's known. Yeah, but they don't. They don't. Yeah, I mean, obviously they can't keep themselves completely hidden, but obviously you know the rumors are true, and they are definitely part of the banking system for sure too. It just so Saturn, the coins, the dollar bill of the coins. That's where Saturn energies weigh in. Physical, of course, Anunnaki is connected to that, but Saturn, like I said, it's Saturn Anunnaki beings. So it's Anunnaki is connected to all these different planets. But I mean, I believe it's just mostly a Saturn energy there. Yeah, nice and intense. So yeah, I mean, they're in the families, the elite families. There's probably more, but the Rothschild's the strongest one right now. Of course, the Rothschild field connects to the Queen, controls the Queen's energy behind the scenes, and yeah, so on. So, all right, we'll just leave it at that. So, all right, blessings, and catch you tomorrow. All right, take care. Blessings.